Patrick, MAGA Patrick, let's call him, is calling up. Patrick, you're on with Lev Parnas. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I just want to point out George Lopez, I guess just the other day, was making some jokes about Latinos on the border stealing the construction equipment if they didn't build it quick enough. I'd say that's pretty racist.
Where did he say it? Was it at a Kamala Harris rally? Where did he say it?
Yeah, he just did it, I believe, yesterday at a very small rally somewhere.
Okay, so you don't know if it was a Kamala Harris rally. You said it was a small rally somewhere, so you don't know where it was. You don't know if it was at a Kamala Harris rally, and you're comparing that statement to the statements that were made last night. I'm just curious.
It was at a rally.
But that's part of
either Tim Walz or a Kamala Harris rally.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's part of the whole MO that we used to implement, and I was part of one of the people that taught the MAGA cult to implement that. Is yes, you might hear something or somewhere somebody say it, and you amplify it and compare it to something huge. That's what, like Brian said, Madison Square Garden, in front of the whole world. You had not just Donald Trump, you had everybody come up there, every guest, basically, every speaker come up there and make derogatory, racist remarks one way or the other. And then you'll compare it to somewhere there's a rally with maybe 50 people, and somebody will make a remark, and you'll compare it and say it's the same exact thing. It's not. And that's just part of what the cult mentality does.
You can't blame me for his rallies being exponentially bigger than Tim Walz.
Okay, well, that's nonsense, number one, and that's nonsense. That's nonsense, number one.
That's absolutely true.
Okay, so you could obsess about crowds. Hold on, Patrick. Patrick, I'm gonna give you some facts right now because I know you MAGA people struggle spelling that word. I've been to 2 Donald Trump rallies in Vegas. I've been to 2 Donald Trump rallies. Hold on, you're gonna pot him down. You're not gonna interrupt me, MAGA. You're gonna let me finish. Sorry, Lev. I have a bone to pick with this guy. Thomas and Mack Center holds 19,000 people. I've been going to that arena for 20 years, Patrick. Half of the arena was roped off. There was nobody in the upper section, maybe 6,000 people there. Donald Trump said 29,000 people were in an arena that holds 19,000. Kamala Harris was in that arena the month before. There were over 16,000 people there. It was jammed. I was in both of them, Patrick. So with all due respect, sir, you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. By the way, the man who you support said that the entire country is a garbage can, okay? Give me a comment that Tim Walz and Kamala Harris has ever said even close to that. You had people on that stage yesterday that said Puerto Rico was basically a garbage can. You had people on that stage that were attacking black people, making comments about watermelon jokes, attacking Jews. Okay, so don't you try to come in here and call into this show and say, well, George Lopez, I don't know, it might have been in front of 50 people. I don't know where it was or who it was, but that's the exact same thing. Hey, Patrick, it's not the same thing.
Not even close.
It's not even close.
Hey, I was agreeing with your guest there that his rallies was much bigger than the small rally that George Lopez made a race.
But you know what, Patrick? The other thing that you don't know, because I've been to more rallies than you have hair in your head, and I was part of putting these rallies together, that majority of those people are not there to support Donald Trump. They come there as a show. They come there to watch a show. They come there to watch. The difference between, these are political rallies. If you take a look at Kamala Harris, that's a political rally. This is where people go to show up to listen to her political stomp speech. People that show up to Donald Trump, they come up to see what's the next crazy things he's going to say, because he doesn't talk about policy. He doesn't talk about anything to unite or support this country. The only thing he comes out there is like making jokes. Even take a look at his Joe Rogan show. Joe Rogan himself said, listen, you should be a comedian because everything you come out, you got the time, the glare of comedian. He's a showman. He's a con man, and he's a hustler. And what I recommend, if you're in Vegas, Mega Joe, please come on out to the show. I'd love to meet you, and I'd love for you to watch the movie. And I promise you'll come back on the show, and you'll be tired saying, I'll never vote for that guy again.
I'll tell you one thing we won't have, though, tomorrow night. We won't have Hulk Hogan attempting to rip his shirt off. We won't have Kid
Maybe
Rock.
Kendall will do it. Yeah. Kendall will.
We won't have that. Thank you, Lev, for putting Patrick in the correct place, but you'll still inviting him to the event, which I'm sure he won't show up to because he only shows up to pro-MAGA people.
To win the popular vote?
I'm sorry,
Is
what?
that concerning to y'all?
What?
Are y'all concerned that even CNN on their polling is talking about that Trump actually might win the popular vote.
Mega, what's concerning to me is that you won't show up and take a look at the facts. I challenge you to come tomorrow to the event. I will give you a free ticket, you personally, and I will want you to watch the movie and discuss with me, and then come on the show, on Brian's show afterwards, and then talk then.
Patrick, why don't you show up tomorrow night? You live in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Why don't you show up tomorrow night? He's offering you a free ticket. Why don't you take that opportunity?
I don't live in Vegas,
Where do you live?
but thank you for the
Where do you live?
for the opportunity.
Where do you live?
I don't live in Nevada.
Okay.
Well, I apologize for that, but I wish you were. But I'm going to put an invitation out. If there's any Brian real mega people on here
Sure.
that are constantly
Yeah.
discussing with you, call on in right now. I'll choose one or two of you guys. I'll give you
There
a
you
free
go.
ticket. I'll
There
bring
you
you
go.
up there so you could come out there and see with your own eyes, hear with your own ears, and then
Sure.
make your decision.
I think that's very, very fair, and that's very nice of you to do.